Every morning I wake up with purpose, I gotta go get it. I got that stack on my Benjis, no, I won't settle for millions. No need for salary capping, cause my money ain't got no ceiling. I'm talking hundreds and fifties, I'm about my business, I gotta take it my. If it ain't about that check, don't waste your breath, I ain't got time. Cause I'm like that, Melly, I got money on my mind. For my brothers in the grave, and my doing time. I'ma run up that blue check, and I'ma go get what's mine. Wait, I gotta grind. I gotta aim for beyond the stars, cause I gotta shine. I gotta do what it takes to put food on my plate so my family can dine. I'm about to go up and blow up on like Ruby J stepped on her mind. This for the days that I start on my and for the nights that I cried. This for the times that I had to be the bigger person and swallow my pride. This for the cheating and did me the dirt and who lied. This for the times that I went through depression and still put the to the side. I had to get on my mind. Got a son back at home who rely on his father to help be his guide. That's why I'm back making these rhymes, working this booth like it's my 9 to 5. And when I get to the top, family get piece of the pie. I swear that I'll never stop until I get every dime. The devil keep testing me, but I never fold. But please keep protecting me, watch over my soul. I swear that I never change, really just stick to the code. I just wanna leave a mark on the world. Every morning I wake up with purpose, I gotta go get it. I got that stack on my Benjis, no, I won't settle for millions. No need for salary capping, cause my money ain't got no ceiling. I'm talking hundreds and fifties, I'm about my business, I gotta take it my. Hey, if it ain't about that check, don't waste your breath, I ain't got time. Cause I'm like that Melly, I got money on my mind. For my brothers in the grave, and my doing time. I'ma run up that blue check, and I'ma go get what's mine. Every morning I wake up with purpose, I gotta go get it. I got that stack on my Benjis, no, I won't settle for millions. No need for salary capping, cause my money ain't got no ceiling. I'm talking hundreds and fifties, I'm about my business, I gotta take it my. If it ain't about that check, don't waste your breath, I ain't got time. Cause I'm like that Melly, I got money on my mind. For my brothers in the grave, and my doing time. I'ma run up that blue check, and I'ma go get what's mine. Wait, I gotta grind. I gotta aim for beyond the stars, cause I gotta shine. I gotta do what it takes to put food on my plate so my family can dine. I'm about to go up and blow up on like Ruby J stepped on her mind. This for the days that I start on my and for the nights that I cried. This for the times that I had to be the bigger person and swallow my pride. This for the cheating and did me the dirt and who lied. This for the times that I went through depression and still put to the side. I had to get on my mind. Got a son back at home who rely on his father to help be his guide. That's why I'm back making these rhymes, working this booth like it's my 9 to 5. And when I get to the top, family get piece of the pie. I swear that I'll never stop until I get every dime. The devil keep testing me, but I never fold. But please keep protecting me, watch over my soul. I swear that I never change, really just stick to the code. I just wanna leave a mark on the world. Every morning I wake up with purpose, I gotta go get it. I got that stack on my Benjis, no, I won't settle for millions. No need for salary capping, cause my money ain't got no ceiling. I'm talking hundreds and fifties, I'm about my business, I gotta take it my. Hey, if it ain't about that check, don't waste your breath, I ain't got time. Cause I'm like that Melly, I got money on my mind. For my brothers in the grave, and my doing time. I'ma run up that blue check, and I'ma go get what's mine.
What's up, family? Hello, everyone. This is your Realtor Renae. Thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome for those of you who have not been here on my YouTube channel before. Welcome back to those who have. Thank you so much. I mean, I can't thank you enough. I know you could be doing a ton of things today, but you chose to be here with me. So I am here live, and I have some special guests. But before I bring them on, just wanted to tell you a little bit about me. My name is Renae Johnson. I am a realtor and associate broker in the Atlanta metro area. I'm with Virtual Properties Realty. And again, I just want to say thank you. This program that we're going to be talking about today is very special to me. I'm going to bring on Pauline Harris. She's with Movement Mortgage. She is the one who introduced me to this program. And although there are a lot of lease purchase programs out there, this one, I don't know, just already has a very special place in my heart, just based on some of the things that this program offers that some of the other ones don't. And so I talked to her. I can't remember how long ago it was, not too long because it's a fairly new program. Can't remember how long ago it was when she introduced me to it, but I was like, okay, I'm loving this. And then we talked about just, briefly saying, hey, maybe we should do a live and go online and tell people about this program, how good it is, and what it has to offer. So she was all for it. And then she said, hey, well, if we're going to be talking about it, let's bring in Curtis, who is an account executive with Landis. And so that just made it even special to have someone on that level with that program that would take the time and be with us today. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Pauline. I want her to come in. She's fabulous, y'all. I want her to come in and just tell a little bit about herself and what attracted her to this program and what made her so excited about it to bring me in on it. So without, like I said, further ado, let's bring in Pauline so y'all can say hello. Hey, girl.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you so much for taking time. Now, this lady, when I say busy, she's busy, y'all. I mean, you have to learn in this business whether it's a bunch of houses on the market or whether it's just two, and everybody's fighting over those two. When it comes to our lenders, we as agents, we choose people who we know are going to get the job done. All lenders are not created equal, and I just choose to work with a small group of lenders that I know is going to get my client to the closing table and their desired outcome, which is to be able to have their home at the end of it when all is said and done. And so I connected with Pauline at an event, and we just kind of clicked, and we've kept in touch ever since then, and we're back and forth, and we're working really hard trying to get people in their homes. But she brought this program to my attention. So, Pauline, please tell everybody a little bit about yourself and why this program is special to you.
Sure. Thank you, Renee, for having me. So Pauline Harris, I've been in Atlanta most of my life. I feel like I'm an AT alien. I graduated from Westlake High School, grew up in South Fulton County, and that is also where I was when I joined the mortgage business. I was living and working out of Fulton County. And so my heart immediately was to my community because there just were not many programs and there was a lot of disparity that existed back then. I was, like I said, I've been in the business almost 2 decades. So I've seen a lot, and I've also seen people feel trapped, when
Mm-hmm.
when you're not able to buy what is there for you. And obviously there's renting options available to you, but those renting options aren't always, they're almost designed to make you a renter. They're
Right.
not going to transition you or prepare you for anything else. So I think the reason why this program is so dear to my heart and why I brought it to you, Renee, is because, as long as I've been in the business, as long as I've helped people all walks of life, I feel like there's a group of people that really truly want to own,
Mm-hmm.
but need somebody that's compassionate, that cares, that's willing to do the work and the research, and just take the time to help them.
Right.
So I'm with Movement Mortgage. My branch is out of Peachtree City, Georgia. And Movement Mortgage actually partnered with Landis. We started out in our North Carolina market and ended up here in Atlanta. And I'm so thrilled to talk to you more about that program.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, again, I want to thank you for being here today. We have a lot to talk about, so I don't want to uh, take too much time in the beginning, but I definitely want you all to, I want people to know who you are, because outside of just working with me, because obviously I'm a realtor myself, but I wanted to come on live because there are other realtors in other states and cities that can use this program, and I just wanted to be able to have a platform to be able to, you know, add to the toolbox. You know, things are tricky. It's getting harder and harder to obtain home ownership, and so I just wanted to be able to have this in my toolbox, obviously, but for other realtors and people who work in our profession can have something to add to theirs as well. So again, I'm glad that you all at Movement Mortgage has partnered with Landis, and that is something that's in my arsenal. But hopefully, some other real estate professionals watching will be able to take advantage of this program as well and get their people into homes like we all desire to do. So again, without further ado, I'm going to bring in Curtis so he can introduce himself. What's up, Curtis?
Hi, how you guys doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Thank you so much for being here. Um, Curtis Brown. You know what, Curtis? I tell us a little bit about yourself before I make the statement I'm about to make. It's funny. So just yeah, just go ahead and tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Curtis Brown. I'm the account executive for Landis here in the Georgia market. We are, as you guys know, the new real estate tech company, and it's been a journey working here, growing here, being with this amazing company, and the changes that we are trying to make in the real estate program. A little bit of, real estate world, really. In my life, I love being here in Atlanta. It's been a transition of coming from finance into mortgage and into real estate, but it's been very, very inspiring change for me. And so I'm glad to be here today with you guys. Just talk a little bit about how we are here helping people into home ownership.
Awesome, awesome. So again, thank you for coming. So I had a brief meeting with Pauline and Curtis yesterday, and I told them, a little bit back history about our last names. So I mentioned to Pauline that my paternal grandmother's last name was Harris, and her husband, obviously my paternal grandfather, his last name was Brown. So I told him some way somehow we're probably already related. But Curtis, where are you from?
I'm from Richmond, Virginia, and I've actually
Bingo.
been in it now for
We
10 years.
might be related for real, Curtis, because my family is in Chesterfield County, Virginia. I lived in Chesterfield County till I was 8, and that's when I moved to the DMV, PG
Okay.
County, and then in 2006 is where I landed in Atlanta. So when I saw that I was like, because you shared some information with me, and I went and looked at that page, and so it said Virginia, and I was like, wait a minute, we could possibly be related for real. So we all family here today. We're just gonna talk and vibe about this amazing program. So to get started, either one of y'all just jump in. I've read over some of the stuff that I've gotten off of the university or the what am I saying, the schooling that's online for us real estate professionals to be
Landis
able to
U.
learn Landis U. And so but I want you all to jump in and tell us, I guess first and foremost, tell us about this program and why is it so much different than some of the others that are out there.
Gotcha. Well, I'll jump in first. We like to call ourselves a home ownership company and not really a rent to own or lease to purchase company. And there's a reason for that. We
Okay.
have an 80% graduation rate. And what I mean by that is 80% of the time, our customers do turn around and become the homeowner. That's what makes us really unique. And how we do that is we actually provide credit coaching to our clients. The goal of our program is, and you look at our motto and we live by, is guiding people on their unique path to homeownership. We all know that it's a process. And most time, people, we don't know what to do in that process. So it's great to have a lease to purchase company that is going to step in, give you a credit coach, and actually guide you on those steps to get you to where you're trying to be in the ultimate goal of home ownership. I don't think any other program out there is actually guiding their clients there.
Okay.
They're helping you get a home, but then there's no training, there's no coaching, there's no hand holding after that point. And that's really the main difference I would say that makes us stand out compared to our competitors.
Okay. So when you say coaching, explain a little bit more like what that means, because that's one of the pieces of this program that gets me excited, because again, at the end of the day, I think sometimes there can be a misconception when it comes to us as realtors, that it's like, okay, we just want you to buy a house, and it's all about a check. But I think for me, I came into this business for one reason. My husband is an investor, and he asked me to get now. He had been asking me for years to get my license, and I just kind of like not listen. But at one point, things got to a certain point in his business where I felt it was best for me to do so. So that's why I came into the business from this side, meaning being a realtor or real estate professional. Although we have been in the business for at this point 20 years. Um, but once I got my license, my real estate license, and I started working with clients or potential clients, there was a something that was heavy on my heart because I ran into and still run into so many clients who are so close and they're almost there but not quite there. And then you have these programs that come along, but like you mentioned, a lot of them it's just about getting into the house. But you realize that once the client gets in there, the same reason or mentality that puts them in a situation, and not always, but a lot of times in the situations that they are in, carries over to being into a lease purchase program. And so I think it's up to us as professionals to assist with coming out of where they currently are and helping them correct or change their mindset in such a way that not only do you get into this program, but you also get out. Because the whole goal for me, and it should be for the homeowner and all of us up here, is for them to transition out of this program and actually purchasing the house. But with
Correct.
Landis, there is an extra step that I'm not aware that any of these other programs do that Landis offers. So can you just talk a little bit more about that part of the program?
Absolutely. So when a customer gets into our program and we buy that house, the first day they move in, they're getting an email from us to set up their credit coaching session with their credit coach. And so the goal of that credit coach is to help you become mortgage ready as quickly as possible. And so our minimum requirement, credit score wise, is a 550.
Mm,
So we all know with 550, you can't go out and get a normal FHA loan right now.
right.
But when you have somebody that understands finance, you have a coach that can tell you, and I come from a finance background. Everything on your credit report is weighted differently. There's things that people don't really understand about how credit works. But if you have somebody that does understand that, they can help you know what things to pay off quicker, where you should, that extra little bit of money you have, what's the smartest way to use that? Where should you delegate those funds and things of that nature? So you have somebody can guide you to get that credit score where it needs to be. So
Mm-hmm.
then you're where you are credit wise. You're in a good position to then transition, like I said, into home ownership and get out of our program. But outside of that too, we're when you're paying your monthly rent with us every month, a portion of that rent is also going into a savings plan for you. And the goal of that savings plan is to help you save up to 5.5, 6% of that original appraised value of the home. So then you have the money that you need when it's time to purchase, and you have your credit where it needs to be. So we're really trying to put you in position to win.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So,
Can I piggyback off of that just a little bit?
yes, please. I was about to tell you, come on, jump on in there because I know you have more to add.
Absolutely. So when people think of lease purchases and rent options, normally you go online, you look for homes, and you hope that you can find something that where the seller is posting something or landlord is posting that they're this home is eligible for lease purchase. And so that we have to, this program, what I appreciate about Landis is it redefines what people think of when they hear lease purchase. And it's exclusive to Landis because they've kind of designed, like I said, even earlier today when I was speaking with someone, this program is designed to make renters owners. Previously, landlords in those situations, they're not designed to help transition you to ownership. They'll, get you into the house, they'll let you do a lease, and then you're on your own. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
better be ready. You know what? You got to, this lease is up in 2 years. It's waiting on you. So in 2 years, you need to be ready. Whereas this program literally walks you through the credit piece, the savings piece, and you can measure it constantly. And your realtor and your lender, because they're the ones that refer you most of the time to the program, they're only a phone call away.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get any questions along the way, if it's a credit question, it comes up as the coach is helping you with your credit, you can call your loan officer and say, hey, listen, I have a question. Your realtor is available if you have market questions. So it's such a very hands-on, it's like a village. They say it takes a village to
Mm-hmm.
close a loan sometimes. Well, sometimes it takes a village to become a homeowner. And Landis, I feel like, has comprised this beautiful platform that incorporates all the fundamentals necessary to buy if you're going to buy and finance. If you're going to finance a home, from credit qualifying to obviously having the money to qualify, to, like Curtis will mention later, more like having the employment history. All of those qualifications are still there, but they're literally going to walk you through so that when your lease is up, there's no question 80% of the people will be ready, which is, I don't know how many companies can say that they even care enough or even have a success rate like that.
Right. 80% is impressive. It is impressive. I mean, because again, um, a lot of these lease purchase programs, like you said, you get in them, and it's like, okay, even going in, I find myself having conversations to say, okay, you're gonna have to qualify for a loan when you come out of this. This program is not going to give you financing. They're providing the vehicle for you to be able to move into this house. But as a homeowner or as a potential future buyer, you still have to do the work to qualify for the loan once the program ends, or it's no different than you just renting an apartment or renting a house from somebody else that isn't a part of this program. So 80 plus percent success rate is huge, and it excites me because I remember being a first time home buyer and just the excitement of, actually, I remember the fear, the
Yes.
uncertainty of, should I be doing this? Just not understanding the process fully. And so having someone on your left and your right holding your hand, through the process is huge. And I'm almost 100% certain that it has to do with the fact that you have, like Pauline said, this village of people that, I mean, people say all the time it takes a village to raise a child. Those of
Right.
us with children understand that statement clearly. Is that, there are times where you need a break and you just pull on, your mother or your brother or, your close friends, because sometimes you just need a breather. Or sometimes you got to call that person up because you've never been a mom before and you have no idea what to do with this screaming colicky child. So you have to call and pull on your resources or your village and get wisdom and understanding. And so I I would bet a lot of money on the fact that you have this additional piece in place that caters towards that high uh, rate on returning and actually getting people
Absolutely.
into their houses. So I will say this before we move any further. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, if you have questions, put your questions in the comments. We, fingers crossed, because we're dealing with technology here, but we should be able to see your questions in the comments. If we see your questions, I will pull your questions up so either Pauline or Curtis can answer your questions while we're here live. Of course, once we're not live anymore, you can put questions in the comments, and I'll do my best to be able to answer those questions myself or get answers for you. But while we're here live, while all three of us are here, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat or in the comment section. We'll try our best, or I'll try my best. Between the three of us, I'm sure we'll have an answer for you. But that was one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to do this topic live, because with social media, we're beyond the Atlanta metro area right now. And I just want people to be able to come on and ask whatever questions they may have that, we can offer answers for today. So please do that. Drop in the chat if you're unclear about something that we said already, or if we haven't said it and you're curious about it. Just drop your questions in the comments, and also tell us where you're from, because that's my next question for you, Curtis. But tell us where you're from, because this program is not just here in Atlanta Metro, or in the state of Georgia. It's offered in other areas. So can you share that as well, Curtis? Like, where in, if it's in the US, like, where can someone actually use this program outside of here?
We're in we're in 12 states.
Okay.
So Georgia, Florida, Maryland, North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee, West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania. I think I got them all. Yeah.
Okay.
So in Georgia. So all 12, we're in 12 states.
Okay.
And usually we're centered around mostly metropolitan areas. So I can't speak on every other state, but here in Georgia, we have a huge circle that we operate in around Atlanta. But we're also in Macon, Warner Robins, Athens, Savannah, Augusta, and Columbus as well. So we buy
Nice.
in all those states.
Nice. Nice. And so one of the things that I noticed about your program too is the ability to, when you're purchasing in certain areas, like some programs, there's all of these stipulations as to, it has to be in this type of, now clearly I'm sure you have to be in a neighborhood that allows no rental restrictions, because at the end of the day you're renting or you're leasing to purchase. So that is one. But there, I run into, in some of the other programs, a lot of, like, there's a lot of red tape that you have to, it has to do this, it has to do that. Now I know there are some, and just looking over your criteria, there are certain things that qualifies the home. So not, there is a qualification process for those um who are watching. So there is, like, certain things the that you have to qualify for. Like Curtis mentioned earlier, there is a 550 credit score. So let you, do you mind breaking that down, like some of the key points, before I move into what I was about to
Sure.
say, but some of the things that you have to have in place in order to qualify. It's not for everybody. You do have to qualify.
Right. So for our clients, like I said, minimum is a 550 credit score. We're going to ask that you come with a savings. So we do want you to start with some type of money down, and that's going to be a minimum of 2%. 2% of whatever your approval budget is. We buy homes from 110 to 500,000, so that can give you kind of a gauge of what that down payment may look like per person. Our debt to income ratio is 45%. And we have a lot of small rules when it comes to, like you said, you're talking about people that can qualify for the program. Um, our underwriting is put in a position where we know we can help people that normally couldn't qualify, like I said, for FHA right now. So let's say you had a bankruptcy and you had a Chapter 7. Normally with FHA, you have to be out of that Chapter 7 for 2 years. With us, you have to be out of that Chapter 7 for 1 year.
Nice.
With Chapter 13, you have to be out of your 7 for a year for FHA. With us, you have to be out of your Chapter 13 for 6 months. So we kind of take in some of those different rules and cut them in half. When it comes to employment and people who change jobs or recently switch jobs, as long as you've been on your job at least 3 months, we can use that income and still move you forward into our process. So there's a lot of different things where we can step in. It's a plethora of options. It depends on the person. And that's why we say guiding people on their unique path, because everybody's situation is slightly different.
Hmm.
So depending on what it is that's going on with you financially, you may still be a fit for our program. But like I said, we don't fit every person.
Right.
But the ones that do fit, we're gonna help them, we're gonna guide them, and the goal is to turn them into homeowners.
Right.
Now we
So
also were talking a little. Oh, go ahead, Pauline. Go ahead.
no, I know. Please finish.
We also had talked a little bit about property criteria and what type of homes we purchase and where we purchase, things of that nature. So we only buy single family homes and
Hmm.
fee simple townhomes. Like I said, we are centered around mostly metropolitan areas. So you won't see, as what you call red tape, different school districts or things like that being an issue with us. For all the agents out there, you get access to a where we operate map that has color coded with big circles around the areas that we operate in. And so if they're in our blue areas, those areas, as long as they meet the minimum property criteria, which is very simple, um, there's no problem there. And we have some orange areas where we would consider are more rural areas. So when you get a little bit farther away from the city, some of those areas will become case by case scenarios. And then if you're too far out from the city, those are just be areas that we don't operate in. Um, but when it comes to property criteria, the main thing you guys would be looking at, like I say, single family homes, fee simple townhomes. You want the homes to be move-in ready, so no as is properties. And also, we would do homes that actually go back 100 years old. So you can go back 100 years. The thing is, if the home is older than 1978, we will want to see that the home has had some type of renovation or upgrade done to it. I mean, at the end of the day, we want to put our clients into a strong house.
Right.
We don't want them to have any major repairs or anything come up on them in those first couple of years. I mean, nobody wants that to happen when they buy a home, right?
Right.
So in our program, we're trying to set you up for success. So we're not going to put you in something that we wouldn't want to live in ourselves.
Right. Okay. Pauline, you had something because we do have some questions. So I wanted you to be able to share what you were about to share before we jump in to some of the questions in the chat.
Sure. I was just going to say, I mean, everybody knows credit repair agencies are making a ton of money. There are a lot of people paying hundreds, even thousands of dollars to repair your credit. And this program is a part of the program. So you don't have to go and do all of that. I mean, this is a program where literally they've got someone to help you. And there are a lot of people that are in credit repair that really don't even need to be in there. There's a lot of people that are getting credit repair that have qualifying scores, but they're really, waiting for the 720, 740, and
Mm-hmm.
that's all well and good. But while you're waiting another 6 to 12 months or 6 to 8 months, you might be ready now.
Mm-hmm.
So, this program, it's not gonna tie up your money. You're not paying thousands of dollars, to help someone get your credit. That's already part of the program, and they're doing it as a, I almost want to say a courtesy. I'm sure Curtis can enlighten us if it's a courtesy or not. But there's no extra fee, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right, Kurt? Is there a fee for them to use the credit repair agency?
No, not at all. That is part of the program. Our mission is getting you into the home. So we know that credit is one of the most important factors that keep really stops people from
Mm-hmm.
making that step into home ownership. So we're giving that to you as part of the program. It is, I guess, quote unquote, free. Um, but yeah, that's part of what we do.
Right. And that's another reason why I wanted to do this live is because a lot of people self qualify, and I tell people all the time, stop self qualifying. Talk to a lender first. Let the lender tell you what you can and can't qualify for. Don't do it yourself, because once you talk to us, because you talk to me first, I'll ask some questions and you actually fill out the application with Pauline, and that'll bring some more things to light. But we have these resources. So instead of you being on a month to month rent until whenever, and right now these rental prices are ridiculous and they're increasing. And it's not fully 100% on the landlord because inflation is going on. You got fees increasing out the wazoo. So of course, as a landlord, they're going to pass those fees and those different challenges with the things just going on in the world today on to the renter. And so therefore, you're like clueless when it comes to, okay, my rent is this month, but what is it going to be next month? Is the landlord going to need to cover a HOA fee that has been increased on the property? So now you got to pass that fee on to me. Or would you rather be in a situation where you are in a living situation that you already know for the next 12 months or 24 months or however long you're in the program, you're already knowing what your monthly payment is going to be until you can buy out of the program. So let's hit some of these questions in the chat. One person did ask in the program how much money you would need to have on average to use the program, and I think you answered that already. So I'm going to bring up this question. Oh my gosh, it's so big. Hold on, be patient, y'all. I gotta narrow this down and make it a little bit smaller so you can see. But basically, what this question is saying, this program sounds good thus far. Thank you all for doing this live. How long does the client have to rent before graduating from the program? Let me bring it back.
All right. So to answer that question, technically they don't have to rent long at all. They could turn around and buy the home next month. The program is from 12 to 24 months, and there's no prepayment penalty. So whenever the customer is ready, they can buy the home back from us. So what that looks like, just to be very transparent, if you buy the home back within the first 12 months, you are going to pay 4% on the original appraised value of that home. That price is locked in from day one. So it's not going to change. You know exactly what you're shooting for from day one. Now, if you go into year two, what happens is that buyback price goes up 1% per quarter. So the max that anybody would pay would be 8% over that original appraised value of the home.
Okay.
I need to interject as the lender too, because that's a good question, but there's a lender caveat to that. So
Go
Landis does
ahead.
not have a waiting requirement once you're eligible, as he mentioned. But most of these buyers are going to be prepared, I would say most, and you could probably correct me, Curtis, for FHA. If you
Correct.
end up using, okay, so if you end up using an FHA loan to purchase this home, you have to be in that home 6 months before you can buy it. And that is just an FHA requirement. Now, you can do it in less time, but be prepared that FHA requires you to be in the house at least 6 months on any lease purchase in order to buy, just put down 3.5% down. If you can put 15% down, then you can buy it whenever you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
But traditionally, if you're going to be putting down the minimum 3.5%, you do have to lease that house 6 months before you can purchase it.
Okay. Awesome. Let's see what. Let me go back to the questions. So this question is, with the 80% success rate, that's huge. What are some disqualifies for the remaining 20%? So like,
Okay.
what are you,
Great
that's a great
question.
question. Yeah.
We actually recently looked at that as a company, and we were talking about it in one of our meetings. So to be honest, most of the people that fall into that 20%, it's something that happens in life that would have probably pushed them out of that mortgage or that situation anyway. Somebody loses a job, somebody gets a job that moves them to another state, things of that nature that are out of our control, out of their control. That lends to that 20%. But then we also do just have those customers that get into our program and maybe don't follow the credit coach, or end up something happens and they have to end up using their credit in a way that would push them further out of reaching their goal into home ownership. So that does happen. And if that does happen at that time, we would get them to the end of the 24 months, and they would end up having to exit the program. Now,
Mm.
Bandits is very lenient though. So we are guiding you and coaching you every month. We know where you are when you get to the end of that 24 months. So if you're a customer that we see has been following the program, is right there on the cusp of making it, but we're at the end of 24 months and it's like, okay, if you only gave me 2, 3 more months, I'd be there. Those type of customers, we are willing to extend the program to and continue to work with them. The customers that get to the end of 24 months and, like I said, have not followed the plan, maybe went out and bought other things credit wise that have pushed them further out from actually completing the program, those would be the people that would end up exiting the program.
Hmm.
Um, but when we look at the average, like I said, throughout that 20%, it's usually people that had something in life that happened that kind of just pushed them out.
Okay. That was a great question. So MHD, you are rolling with these questions. They're really good questions. So they have another one.
Go ahead.
And this question is, does the savings created for the client go towards down payment or closing costs?
It really is up to the customer at that time. It depends on what they need. So, and the reason I like to say it that way, because when you get to the end of that, or whenever you're ready to purchase, you could go FHA, and yes, you're going to need some down payment money. You're going to need closing costs, and so that's what that money would go to. But also, Pauline knows you could use Georgia Dream, you could use NACA, you could be a veteran and use VA, and so all those other programs have some type of down payment assistance connected to them. And so in those situations, you may not need to use all the money that we put into that savings account for you. And if that's the case, that money will just go right back to you in your pocket. That'll be money you've been saving over the last year to 2 years. Um, and now you can use it to go buy a new couch or whatever you want for your new home, right? Um, but that is, it's there for you to be able to have it for closing costs, but it depends on your situation and how you end up needing to use it at that time.
Nice. Okay. And that's great. I'm glad you mentioned that because it's good that you can use this in conjunction with other programs. So like you said, if you're doing a VA loan and you don't have to necessarily put money down, now that other money can go that you say can go towards closing costs. Um, and fortunately, right now we're in a market where you have even sellers sellers are helping with the closing costs as well. So now's a really good time to jump out there and buy as much as some people are afraid to do so. Let's see. We have Teresa Simmons is asking, is there an application fee?
No, ma'am. No application fee, and it is a soft pull on your credit, so it's not going to hurt you to apply. I mean, we're in a position where we're trying to help you build your credit. Why would we charge you or uh, do a hard pull on your credit in that situation? So the goal is to guide you from here, so we're not going to hurt you right in the beginning.
Okay. All right, and y'all keep these questions coming because we're talking in general about how the program works and the benefits of it, but we definitely want to hear from you all as to what are some of the things that may be your concern, or some of the things that may cause you to come out of the place where you are right now. Because if you're renting and you're saying, "Hey, I'm already renting anyway," it would make more sense for me to be renting and living in a house or leasing in a house that I'm going to eventually own myself. And so that way, that a portion of that money is going towards me making that transition, as opposed to my entire rent just going you know just to the landlord. So yeah, keep your questions coming. Also, I do want to mention that I put in the chat, if you are interested in this program, me as being an affiliate with Landis, I have placed my link in the chat. So if you're interested, you can click that link and go right into Landis, apply right online to see if you qualify for the program. And if you do, it'll tell you like what you qualify for. And then that way I can get with Pauline. We can have a conversation about what your path looks like, and then we can get you started right away, as long as you qualify for the program and you have the funds to put down, to be able to move forward. So that link is in the chat. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My information will be in this live, that you can just reach out directly and talk to me one on one. So we have another question. Is Says that they are doing an application now with Landis, and my job is on and off. Is an on and off job. What is the qualifications for the house? I'm not sure if I understand that question. If you want to ask it again, do you understand what they're?
I don't know what they mean by on and off job. I mean, as long as they've had consistent income from
Mm-hmm.
that job for the last
Okay,
3 months,
for 3 months.
they sounds like they're okay.
Mm-hmm.
But we also are still want to get your taxes and proof that you've been consistently working, if not even with that exact job over the last year to 2 years. So I don't know. I'm a little confused with that question, but hopefully that gives them the answer they're looking for. I
Okay.
wanted to piggyback on something you had just said, actually, Renee. How our process looks when a client does click that link to apply, within almost immediately, they're going to know if they're pre-qualified or if they're what we call waitlisted. Waitlisted means something in your application showed up that you're not exactly ready to start our program yet, right? But if you are pre-qualified, then what you do is we're going to treat you the same way Pauline is going to treat you at this point. We're going to ask for documents. We want proof of income, W-2s, taxes, things of that nature. If you're a business owner, profit loss statements, things of that nature. And then once you get all those documents to us, then you go into our underwriting phase. So that underwriting phase can take 3 to 5 business days.
Hmm.
But after that, that's when you'll get your budget. So
Okay.
you'll know at that time how much home you're approved for, what your rent looks like, what the down payment looks like, and what portion of your rent every month is going to go into your savings plan. Now, that original down payment too is the beginning of your savings plan. So even though we say it's the minimum of 2%, if they're a client that can give us more than that, that'll affect your rent price every month. So the more you are able to put down in the beginning, the cheaper your rent will be going through the program.
Nice. Okay, we have another question from Julia Gray. Julia says, since the housing prices are so expensive in Metro Atlanta right now, what are the minimums and maximum purchase prices for homes in this program? So I believe the max is 500,000. Am I correct?
Yes,
Okay,
you're
so
correct.
is there a minimum?
There is a minimum, but this Julia, that
Julia,
was a great
yes.
question, especially for Atlanta. So our minimum technically is 110,000, but as you guys know, you're not finding a move-in ready nice home at 110,000 in Atlanta no more. So
Nowhere.
the minimum
Nowhere.
requirement, the minimum uh, requirement for Atlanta that we would even approve a customer for is still pretty low. It's 160,000. And even that's still hard to find a home at that price point. So what I like to tell people is the average income of our clients that are really successful with us is between $55,000 and $110,000 in annual income, and that is per household. But with that income, you're probably seeing a budget of 200,000 or more.
Mm,
And so that's really where you can now gauge that you're going to find a home that you can actually live in, that you want to live in, an area that you want to be at. And for Atlanta, that is really important because, like we said, our inventory at those lower prices is now gone.
right.
Now, I know when I first moved here, it was different. And when I bought my home was $200,000. It's now worth about double that, and that's
Wow.
in 5 years. And it has changed a lot. Um, but yeah, we're still buying homes from technically 110 to 500,000.
And just to reiterate, as you mentioned this earlier, for somebody who may have came on after the fact, it is for single family, and you said townhomes as well, right? So
Correct.
no condos, no condos. Okay, I just wanted to reiterate that. Um, and also Julia wanted to say hi, Pauline. She said she spoke with you about 3 months ago, so she wanted to say hello to you. So
Hi,
thank you for
Julie.
joining us, Julia, and everybody else who is currently here. If you have any more questions, again, please drop them in the comments, um, and we will try to get those questions answered for you. Again, I am excited about this program. I'm excited that both of you all joined me today. Um, it- it's, I mean, I just, it's such a great fit for where we are right now. I mean, like even the 3 months of consistent employment, that was a big hang up also. So it wasn't like it's always the money or
Right.
the credit. A lot of times it was somebody just got a new job and is like, hey, I can't qualify right now because I've only been on my job for 3 months, and it's a job that may not be in the same line or field of work that they were in before. I remember having those conversations, so now I have to go back to those people to say, okay, well, this program may work for you. I didn't necessarily have something to offer you a year or two ago, but let's see if you can qualify for this program, because with you being in it for 2 years, or at this point if they've already been on their job for a year, you only need another year to be able to qualify, where you could not before. So I'm just, like I said, just really excited about where this program can take that person who was probably feeling discouraged, like, just forget it. Because I've tried all these things, and I just feel like my hands are tied. I can't do anything. This just opens up a window for just so many more people to be able to obtain that goal of home ownership. If there are no more questions about the Landis program right now, I know Pauline has some exciting news about another program that she has to offer, that I wanted to allow her to tell us about. But just give a couple of more minutes for anybody else who may have a program about this. Oh, okay, hold on. We got a couple more. Uh, so does the I'm gonna put it up here. I think we may have answered this, but it says, does the program require qualifying areas? So I think you already answered this. It has to
I
be
mean,
in. Go ahead.
to a degree, every state has a where we operate map, and um, like I said, we're centered around mostly metropolitan areas. So if you think about your bigger cities in whatever states you may be in, we're probably purchasing around those cities. So I'll speak for Georgia where I'm at. It's huge, huge map around Atlanta. I mean, from Duluth to McDonough type of, when I say huge circle around Atlanta. But then we also are in Macon, Warner Robins, Athens, Savannah, and Augusta and Columbus as well. So we service all the little smaller city markets, and it would be the same for every other state. One thing I didn't say, I can't believe I haven't said this whole time. So for those people who have never heard of us, y'all may have seen posts and heard all this news about two really big famous people investing into a real estate company. Um, Jay Z and Will Smith are two of our major investors. Also, the National Association of Realtors invested in us. So I even like bringing them up more than Jay Z and Will Smith because to me, the National Association of Realtors would not have invested in us if we
Mm-hmm.
were not actually doing something right. So what we're doing is, like I said, taking the traditional lease to purchase and putting a modern twist to it. But we know that's the modern twist is what's needed in our current market and with the people that we are trying to serve. So
Awesome. Did you mention Mississippi? Is Mississippi an area?
no, I did not not yet.
Not yet. Okay. All right. And no worries, MHD. You missed it, but hey, you've been bringing the good questions, so don't even worry about that. We just appreciate you participating and chiming in with us today. So, um, Pauline, I do want to give you the stage. You mentioned a program to me the other day when we talked. I'm excited about that too. Go ahead and let us know a little bit. Did you want to go ahead and share about that today?
Sure. I don't mind doing that, but I gotta just make sure that Landis is such an amazing company and what they provide. I just want to kind of create a visual for anyone that really didn't kind of grasp what this looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So you basically applied for a loan with a lender. The lender said you cannot qualify because of X, Y, or Z. You applied with Landis, and Landis says, you know what, actually, you qualify for our program. And they walk and they're going to help you with your budget. You don't have the money necessarily put down right now for the full purchase, but they're going to help you budget. They're going to help you if you didn't qualify for credit reasons. And now you and Renae get to go house hunting. I want to make sure that you see the visual in that. Yes, there's the budgeting and yes, there's the credit qualifying, but this is all taking place while you're in the home that you want.
Right.
So a lot of you are working towards qualifying and working towards saving, but you're doing it in an apartment that you don't want to be in or a home that you cannot stand, can't wait to get out of there. This is a perfect opportunity for you to go ahead and get into the home that you want to be in. So definitely couldn't, I cannot say enough, stress enough, how amazing Landis is. And as you mentioned, Renae, the great thing is when you're ready to buy, one of the beautiful things right now is, as you guys may know, lenders are all being very creative and they are all trying to close the wealth gap by creating some type of program to kind of help. Movement Mortgage has an $8,000 grant. I've been posting about it on my Instagram, ATO Mortgage Queen. And you can use that $8,000 in a few different ways. So 5,000 of that is for down payment. You can use the additional 2,500 for down payment as well, or you can use it towards closing costs. And then there's an additional $500 credit towards your appraisal.
Mm.
So right in that, there's no income limits for that. You just have to be in an area that is designated by the census tract as an area that's more 50% or more of a minority population. So it's a wonderful opportunity, just another,
Mm.
piece of arsenal to help you get into these homes. We really want to help you guys purchase. And so yeah, you just graduated from Landis, and you come back to Movement, and we put you in our in our $8,000 grant so you can buy the house and keep that money in your pocket that Curtis mentioned earlier.
Hey, this is for you, Pauline.
Y'all don't even understand why that's for me, but I take all of that. That's my favorite sound effect in the world.
Look, it's your favorite, and I don't like it. I tell my husband all the time when when we're out somewhere and then they DJ start hitting that, and it's like, oh Lord, here we go. But that for you and that new program, well, I'm gonna give you a little something too, Curtis. So that's
Yes,
that's
yes.
for both of y'all. But we thank y'all so much for joining us today. We're gonna wrap it up. Like I said, if you have any questions for me, or for Pauline, uh, Curtis, we're gonna get you in touch with. I'm gonna post this link again. Hold on. Not that. I'm trying to post a link at this point.
We'll take another one.
Hold on, let me see.
Nah,
Yeah,
it's a
like,
party. It's a
oh, you gonna take
party.
one more? Oh no, there it is. There's the link. That's the link to go online and apply for Landis. And then we'll get you in touch with the Landis rep that is going to help you through your process. Thank y'all again for joining us. If you don't have any other questions, we can wrap it up now. Unless y'all got anything to say in closing before we get out of here.
Just be safe.
Um,
Yeah, be safe out
yeah,
there, people.
everybody enjoy life, no stress. Um, we need help.
Yeah, we are here to help. And so please use your resources. Don't be stuck in a situation. And I will say this in closing, because I mentioned to y'all that I had a conversation with someone who has been renting for 10 years. And he said that, the reason why he was renting, because I mentioned the lease purchase program to him, and he mentioned not wanting to purchase because of maintenance and so on and so forth. And I told him, I said, sir, he told me he was paying $2,000 a month to rent an apartment. And I think it was like a 2-bedroom apartment, something like that. And I was like, you could be in such a decent house for that monthly payment, and if you're not quite ready as far as whether it's your credit, whether it's your income or your down payment, just certain all of these uh red flags or this tape or these boundary or these what word am I looking for? Uh roadblocks that's standing in your way. This program takes a lot of the roadblocks out of the way. And in the meantime, you can be working, or like Pauline said, while you're working on some of those roadblocks, you can already be in the house that you went out, because we went out and shop for it, and you purchased, or are now leasing through the program. So don't allow something like not wanting to there's places you can move into that you don't necessarily have to deal with maintenance, or that's a high price to pay. Because I told him to do the math. I said, do the math on what you renting for these past 10 years. And once you move, you walk away with literally nothing. Whereas if you living in a house, you can at least walk away with equity. Whether you want to, I mean, because in this program you'll be living in a property that does not have rental restrictions. So you can always move out of that property, pull some equity out, move out of that property, put it down on another property, and now you're an instant investor, because now you have an investment property, and then you can go and buy another primary down the road. It's just so many options. But I think fear and not wanting to commit and sign that document to say you're in a 30-year mortgage, although it sounds like huge and like a heavy weight, it opens up so many opportunities for you as a homeowner that you just will not get uh, as a renter. So consider all things before you just make a decision you know to rent for 10 years. And that's for our millennials as well, not so much for older people, but people who are just jumping out there, and buying their first home. And, you're young, 30 years, you buy your house in your 20s. By the time you're 50, your house could be paid. I mean, it could be paid for. So just some things to think about. Glad y'all could join us today. Thank you again. If you like, subscribe, hey, I'm here. I'm going to be bringing wisdom, not so much just for you to work with me as a realtor, although I would love that. And Pauline would love for you to work with her as a mortgage lender. But we just want to bring information that's going to help us all as the masses to move forward and more people becoming homeowners at the end of the day. So thank y'all. Y'all have a great day. We appreciate y'all joining us today. Y'all take care. And like Pauline said, be safe out there.
Every morning I wake up with purpose, I gotta go get it. I got that stack on my Benjis, no, I won't settle for millions. No need for salary capping, cause my money ain't got no ceiling. I'm talking hundreds and fifties, I'm about my business, I gotta take it my. If it ain't about that check, don't waste your breath, I ain't got time. Cause I'm like that Melly, I got money on my mind. For my brothers in the grave, and my doing time. I'ma run up that blue check, and I'ma go get what's mine. Wait, I gotta grind. I gotta aim for beyond the stars, cause I gotta shine. I gotta do what it takes to put food on my plate so my family can dine. I'm about to go up and blow up on like Renae stepped on my mind. This for the days that I start with my and for the nights that I cried. This for the times that I had to be the bigger person and swallow my pride. This for the cheating and did me the dirt and who lied. This for the times that I went through depression and still put the to the side. I had to get on my mind. Got a son back at home who rely on his father to help be his guide. That's why I'm back making these rhymes, working this booth like it's my 9 to 5. And when I get to the top, family get a piece of the pie. I swear that I'll never stop until I get every dime. The devil keep testing me, but I never fold. Lord, please keep protecting me, watch over my soul. I swear that I never change, really just stick to the code. I just wanna leave a mark on the world. Every morning I wake up with purpose, I gotta go get it. I got that stack on my Benjis, no, I won't settle for millions. No need for salary capping, cause my money ain't got no ceiling. I'm talking hundreds and fifties, I'm about my business, I gotta take it my. Hey, if it ain't about that check, don't waste your breath, I ain't got time. Cause I'm like that Melly, I got money on my mind. For my brothers in the grave, and my doing time. I'ma run up that blue check, and I'ma go get what's mine.